What's going on, guys? Just wanted to hop on today and talk about a little bit of the price action that I saw today on the NASDAQ futures chart. I didn't take any trades today because it was a Friday. I typically don't trade on Fridays, and instead I kind of just go over the price action from the week, and then when I'm done that on Friday, I also kind of just watch price action to see if there's anything that I'd be interested in. But today there was some good price action that indicated that a long position was probably more favorable than shorts, despite yesterday. So let's get into it. So starting off on the daily chart, we see that yesterday there was a really large sell-off at these all-time highs. People thought after the data from PPI released that it was just going to keep going down. But despite this large sell-off, I thought that it was needed, and I also thought that coming into today and maybe early on next week that this area would probably be best for some buying opportunities to enter into a long position. I even sent out a text to a few people and I said, if I was a swinging man right now, I'd be very interested in this dip. Price is coming into equilibrium of the daily range, and next week could offer a good buying opportunity inside the daily fair value gap below the 50% retracement level. So if we see right here on the daily chart, we swept buy side liquidity, or we swept sell side liquidity on the, what day was this? On the 1st of July. And then we broke above this high right here. So since we broke above that high, we left the order block, and then there was two fair value gaps on the daily chart, one right here and then one a bit low below it. So I was thinking if we did pull back into this daily fair value gap, this would be a good spot to look for longs. And we can see on the 1 hour chart, this is exactly where we stopped yesterday on this sell-off. Price once it got right to that 50% retracement of that large run up on the daily chart, this is exactly where we stopped. So overnight we consolidated right above this daily fair value gap, and then at 8:30 this morning, I believe it was PPI that came out. Price manipulated lower and then continued to run back up after it swept this sell side liquidity from overnight, these relatively equal lows right here. So after price sweeps this sell side liquidity right here, I wanted to see displacement up back to the upside, and then a retest inside of the a fair value gap that would have been created after a market structure shift. So on the 15-minute, we can see that price swept below at 8:30, and then at 9:45 we displaced back to the upside, breaking above this consolidated range right here. And it wasn't until 10:15 where we came back and retested this fair value gap on the 15-minute. I was looking at this and I did like this entry, and I just didn't take it on like a paper trade since I don't trade on Fridays. But I did notice that we did come back down and test inside of this 15-minute fair value gap that also happened to be this 1 hour fair value gap right here. So now that we have the manipulation down to the downside, sweeping sell side liquidity, and then we have a fair value gap that was tested, I want to see price move from internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. So the 1 hour fair value gap that's sitting right here would be internal range liquidity. So now my eyes shift to the upside to try and take back the buy side liquidity that was created on the run up. So if we shift down to a 1 minute chart, we see that prices inside of this 1 hour fair value gap. We swept sell side here, but didn't displace back up, leaving any fair value gaps. We came back down, swept sell side again right here. We swept sell side again right here, then shifted structure to the upside right here. And when we shifted structure to the upside this time, we left the fair value gap. So one thing I look for after sweeping liquidity, whether it's sell side liquidity or buy side liquidity, I like to see an energetic move back up into the range that we just swept from. So we had the sell side sweep here, and then we had these 3 large green candles right here, and then we left this fair value gap, this 1 minute fair value gap. So now, once I see this 1 minute fair value gap, I want to see a retracement back into equilibrium of this range to take an entry long. And we can see that we got an entry long back into, we got a retracement back long into the equilibrium of the range. You can either put your stop loss below the candle or below the swing low. Target 2R, which got hit right here. And then also, if we want to target the ultimate buy side liquidity of the 1 hour, we ended up getting that as well. So that is just, this is A plus bread and butter setup, moving from internal range liquidity on the 1 hour chart to the external range liquidity on the 1 hour chart, seeing that the price action got, the overnight lows got swept from data this morning, and then a move back up. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to reach for this external range of liquidity, this buy side liquidity right here, but all you can do is take the setups that are presented right in front of you, and this is the setup that was presented today. Like I said, a lot of people would fear buying a down candle right here, but I think that I thought coming into today that this was a perfect buying opportunity just because of the range that the daily chart seemed to be coming into. We were coming back into this. We could have either stopped here, or we could have stopped here, or we could have stopped here. So this is the first line of defense, this first daily fair value gap. This is the second line of defense, this daily fair value gap. We have the order block right here, and then we have this other sell side liquidity right here. And now we can see that we've bounced so hard on the daily chart that now there is no bearish fair value gap that could have been created today. But this right here was an A plus bread and butter setup with the sell side liquidity sweep, displacement back into the range, and then a retracement back into equilibrium. When all time frames are aligning like this, these are the setups that you that I would like to take with heavier size, because it's with trend. The conviction is very heavy on this. But yeah, this is a great setup, and I will talk to you guys next week.